Hello viewers, my name is Reggie Orafa. I am the political anchor of IC Magazine. Today is a very special day for the Nigerian youth. It is a day that the Nigerian youth stood up to lend his voice, lend her voice for police brutality. Today marks the first year anniversary of what has been known as the Lekki Massacre. Today is the 20th of October 2021. Roll back 1 year ago, 365 days ago, on the same 20th of October 2020, the Nigerian youth decided to rise up with one voice, with one hope, and intending to achieve one purpose: to end police brutality. They called this protest ENDSARS. Now, what was ENDSARS? First, what is SARS? SARS is an arm of the Nigerian police that is saddled with the responsibility to end hard crimes. SARS is the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Just like the name said, it was set up so that that arm of the police would go hard on robbery. Because at a point in time, robbery was becoming a major source of concern in Nigeria. And so the police force decided to set up this arm that was popularly called SARS. At the start of it, SARS was doing a great job. They were going after armed robbers, going after hardened criminals. At a point in time, SARS were the only people who the criminal world were scared of. As a matter of fact, they were going in and getting their job done. But as time went on, these guys who called themselves SARS and who the Nigerian youth had gotten to know as police people who took their powers to another level, they began to go beyond what they were set up to do. And that was where the brutality in its real form came into place. These guys would get anybody they saw on the street, anybody, if you had a dreadlocks, if you drove a Mercedes, if you had an expensive looking phone, you became a suspect for the SARS men. They would stop you by the road, set up illegal roadblocks, stop every vehicle, stop every youth. If you had a laptop, now come on, tell me, in this generation where we are, what kind of business would you do without a laptop? It's a global world. Whatever you want to do, you have to be connected to the internet, you have to be connected to your social media platforms. And how do you do that without your phone? It is only the laptop that helps you do that. So it is common for every Nigerian youth to hold a laptop. However, your possession of a laptop made you a suspect for the SARS guys. So they picked you up, saw you anywhere on the road, walking with a backpack, walking with a laptop bag, you became a suspect. They would search your phone without a search warrant, go through your laptop without a search warrant. Sometimes they did everything they wanted to do to you. And it was becoming a case of concern for every Nigerian youth. As a matter of fact, they just didn't stop at searching. There were cases of arbitrary killings. They killed people who refused to bribe them. They took suspects or whatever, took you to the ATM, withdrew money just to bail yourself, and they went away. This was becoming a whole lot of concern for Nigerian youth. And so, gathering all these things, it culminated onto this day. Just stay with me. We'll be taking this break, and I'll be back with you. Thank you for staying with me. The streets of Nigeria saw a protest that had never been seen before. This protest came in a magnitude that celebrities, even the celebrities who were high up there, who were not on the streets with people, they decided to come out with a common man. Because this brutality didn't just stop at the regular men on the streets. Even Nigerian celebrities had one case of direct involvement with SARS, or they knew somebody close to them who had experienced this brutality. So for the first time, the Nigerian youth came together and stood with one voice and asked the Nigerian government for just one thing: end SARS. Now, that was the blanket of the request. But underneath that blanket, there were pertinent things that the Nigerian youth wanted to see. The Nigerian youth wanted a police reform. We knew that beyond this brutality of the police, what was the living conditions of the Nigerian police? What is the remuneration of a Nigerian police? After a hard day's work, where does the Nigerian police officer go home to spend with his family? Where does he call home? What are the schools the Nigerian police officer has his kids attending? Now these were the blanket of things that the Nigerian youth were asking for. They were not just asking that SARS, as an arm of the police, be eradicated. They were asking for a total overhaul of the Nigerian police force. Because the Nigerian youth knew that it is what this police officer gets at home or gets at the station that he brings out to the public. And as a matter of fact, we all know that these guys were getting nothing when it came to remunerations, when it came to welfare. So as a matter of fact, these guys will take it up, their frustrations, to the innocent citizens on the streets who they were supposed to protect. And so they go out there, not just looking for justice or making peace. They go out there trying to look for their livelihood as well. And so when a police officer goes to the street, especially a SARS police officer, he goes out there with intention to make money as well. So everybody he sees on the street is a potential money-making machine for him. So he's going to, whatever he wants, you have dreadlocks, it doesn't matter if you are an entertainer, because we all know that for entertainers, their looks is a prized possession. It doesn't mean he's a drug peddler. It doesn't mean he's a street urchin. It doesn't mean he's a gangster. That is just his personality. But for a SARS operative, once you have a dreadlock, you are a suspect. Once you have a very expensive phone, you are a suspect. Once you drive a Mercedes, yeah, I forgot to say that. Mercedes was also a point. Once you drive a Mercedes on Nigerian roads, you become a suspect to the police officer. They say, oh, this is a Yahoo boy. This is someone who's involved in internet fraud. Because for some reason, in their own understanding, they've equated Mercedes to internet fraud. So once a young man decides that, oh, I want to drive a Mercedes, indirectly, you're putting yourself as a major target for SARS. And so these were the numerous problems that the Nigerian youth had faced. Now, this had affected mostly the youth, because at the everyday going arounds of a Nigerian, the youth are the ones who are most likely to come in contact with these police operatives. So the Nigerian youth came together and decided that let us lend our voice, let us protest, let us tell the Nigerian government that, listen, we are tired of this harassment from people who are supposed to protect us, from men who are paid from our taxes, who are equipped from our taxes to protect the society. These are the men who come back to us to hurt us, to kill us. And so we say no. So on this day, 365 years ago, people came out. The streets were filled up with protesters, just telling the government that this is what I want. This is what we want as youths of Nigeria. This is what we think will make the government better. However, the government had different plans. The government had different plans of answering to the Nigerian youth. And so on that day, on that fateful day, we had members of the armed forces, the Nigerian army. We had the Nigerian police as well, coming to Lekki toll gate to disperse the peaceful protesters. And in their manner, in the language which they understand best. Unfortunately, lives were lost. But was that the only way that an arm of the government, the Nigerian army, could disperse peaceful protesters? At the end of the day, lives were lost. And that event has stayed in the annals of Nigerian history. It has been referred to as the Lekki Massacre because that was the day when the Nigerian army engaged peaceful Nigerian youths who were protesting, who were carrying out a peaceful protest, which is a constitutional right that every Nigerian youth has, given by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But the Nigerian army, in its wisdom, dispersed these youths in a different way. And that ended up in bloodshed, ended up in lots of lives being lost, ended up in a lot of mayhem. So that day, in the psyche of every Nigerian youth, that is the day that our voice went out, and that was the day that the Nigerian government answered our peaceful voice with violence. And so Nigerians from all walks of life, starting from the celebrities to the common man on the street, have decided that today we will have a commemorative event on that same venue where a lot of us came to lend our voice, but were killed, some were injured, some were chased away, some were traumatized. Every form that the Nigerian army thought was okay for them to disperse the crowd, they used it that night. At the end of the day, the crowd was dispersed, but it left a very sour taste in the mouth of every Nigerian youth. And that's why today, Nigerians have decided that we will remember this day. It is a day where we lost our comrades in struggle. It is a day where people from all walks of life came together, not knowing each other, but having one thing at the back of their mind: to achieve police reforms by way of asking for the end of SARS, the brutal and inhuman arm of the Nigerian police force. And so right now, as we speak, it is going on in Lekki. Before today, because the authorities knew that there was plans for a commemorative event there, since yesterday, since 2 days ago, the police force and other security agencies have been stationing their vehicle around there in order to scare Nigerians and let them know that no, we will not tolerate any form of protest from you. However, but trust the Naija spirit. Like they say, Naija know they carry last. Nothing we will never see. We survived the military junta of Sani Abacha. We survived everything. Now here we are. This one self will still survive. That is the spirit of the Nigerian youth. So Nigerian youth still came out today. And like I said, like we all expect, the security agencies of Nigeria are doing what they know best to do. Dispersing the crowd in the language they know best. Dragging, malhandling Nigerians who are just coming out. And now the funny thing is this: we're asking for police reforms. It is not the Nigerian youth that would enjoy the reforms. Yes, ultimately they will, but it is that same police personnel, that same one who is not being paid salaries regularly, whose hospital bills are not regularly paid by the same police force that he serves, whose housing allowances are not taken care of as at when due, whose kids, their future are not guaranteed based on what my father or my mother is doing serving in the Nigerian police force. It is those same police personnel who the Nigerian youths are fighting for. They are the same ones that are used as pawns to terrorize the Nigerian youths who are asking for a better life for them. So, you see, that is the paradox of life for the Nigerian youth. We come out to lend our voice to help you get a better life. And it's that same you that we're fighting for. You are the one who's used to come and attack us and brutalize us because we're seeking for a better life for you. Now, this whole thing, it perverses throughout not just the police force, but a lot of segments of the Nigerian government. But for today's broadcast, we'll just stick to the Nigerian police. because that is what the ENDSARS is all about. The Nigerian youth wants a reform of the Nigerian police. That is all we ask for. We are not here, we have our lives to live. The Nigerian youth has his life to live. But what he wants the Nigerian police personnel to be treated fairly. He wants the Nigerian police personnel to be taken care of as his duty demands that he be taken care of. We don't want the Nigerian police to come out to the public and be thinking of how to get his next meal from the regular citizens walking around the streets. We want the government to take care of them, so when they go out to the streets, they know that in the case of any eventuality, my life is taken care of. So I will be ready to serve Nigeria with all my strength. Just like the Nigerian play says. God bless Nigeria. We'll be coming up with more on this ENDSARS 1-year anniversary as events unfold. Just keep a date with IC Magazine. We'll keep you updated. Thank you. Once again, my name is Reggie Orafa. I am your political anchor for IC Magazine.